question was what happens to the water when it rains. We wanted to investigate the journey of the stormwater at Wheaton. Our goals were to meet with the physical plant, find the permeability of the soil, and to map out the storm drains at Wheaton and find where they lead. This is a map of the storm drains. It has not been updated since 1994. The dotted lines represent the pipes that the drains are connected to. As you can see, the Dimple nor Chapel Field have pipes running through them, and Chapel Field has 2 pipes in an unpopulated area. This is why there is a large accumulation of water when it rains, even a small amount.
So we're thinking like the roof drains?
Yeah.
So and like what happened, anybody live in Metcalf or
no,
Chapin?
We heard about it though.
Okay, yeah, Chapin, the brand new kitchen we put in, the refrigerator was floating, that wasn't pretty. So basically what happens is when it rains, you have all the buildings have gutters and they're all tied into roof drains. So that's part of the storm drain system. So it collects all throughout campus and then it all comes down and eventually comes into Peacock Pond, and then eventually comes out here and crosses and goes into the 3 Mile River. So we have a stormwater management plan. If you want to look at a copy of that, that might give you some answers. And in it, it has a bunch of maps that will look. The campus was split into, I think it was 16 or 17 different zones. And then we have an inspection log. And then twice a year, we clean all the storm drains, we suck them out with a vac truck, and make sure they're all operating properly and don't have any major problems.
Do you know anything about that?
Do they have deniable plausibility here? Where it goes to, we'll pop open manholes and say, okay, it goes from here on the Dimple to here to here. That's how you trace the pathway. So what we were doing with that dye, we've done this a couple of times. When was that picture taken?
During the big, it was like after the big storm, I think.
Okay, so what we were doing is between Watson and McNeely, there's a whole storm drain system that comes down that hill.
Yeah.
And there were some areas that were plugged, plugged solid with root balls. So we had to find out which ones are plugged and which ones weren't. So we would dump the dye in the different storm drains, and then it would come out. And it's funny because it's on the, see where the blue light is?
Yeah.
There's 4 big lines that come out there, and one of them has a flapper on it. And that's like a check valve, so the water doesn't back up and that flow. So Watson actually has a secondary foundation with a big perimeter around it. So I don't know if anybody has a class in the experimental theater.
Yeah.
But they got canceled for a long time because we kept flooding out.
Yeah.
So part of that dying was to find out what was going on with that. And we ended up being able to, now Watson, the experimental theater doesn't flood anymore because of that.
Awesome.
So that was the dye. It's environmentally safe. And it looks funky.
Yeah.
It looks really
People freak out when they see it.
Yeah.
Does the pond ever overflow? And what do we do if the pond overflows?
The pond actually has boards that control the height of the pond.
Oh, okay.
We're actually working with an environmental consultant to put a gate system there so we can control the level of the pond. When we had that massive storm in September, and we had all the problems down at the dorms, well, part of the reason was, if you look out at the pond right now, you can see a water level. See how it's like maybe 6 to 10 inches lower than where it normally is? Well, when this storm happened, the pond was so full, it could not flow enough out that it actually overflowed onto the walkway. And that hydraulic pressure over on at the top end of the pond, there's major storm drains go into that. Those storm drains are underwater. So the hydraulic pressure slowed down the water and it couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's what backed up all the storm drains and made such a ugly mess up at the upper half of campus.
So you just have to wait for them to drain?
So basically, yes, basically what we've been doing now is we've been removing the boards when we have heavy rains, so that way the pond level stays lower. So because of the square area of the pond, it can absorb all that water and still flow out without causing a backup.
I see. Okay, yeah. So does the water from like the grass and stuff, does that go into the storm drains too, or does it just soak into the ground?
Most of it leaches into the ground.
Okay.
Most of the roadways and the runoff from the roads and the roof drains that go into our storm drains.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're on our journey to go take a soil core to find out the soil permeability.
Right in the middle of Chapel Field.
Yeah, Gary told us to just dig in Chapel Field, so that's what's happening.
I just really hate the course. I feel like it's like a better way. I'm not making progress.
This doesn't seem like a good contraption.
Hold on. Alright, you're good.
Kind of moving around. Yeah, right?
Just make sure you're going down. There you go, Camille. Add some aggression.
And we just
On Saturday, you're like, oh, we're about to do it.
Geology class. Get messy. Going everywhere. That's my tagline.
Yeah. What happens if there's, twice as much water there?
It's not going down.
No, it's getting there, look.
Calculator.
It's just taking its time.
Oh, yeah. It didn't work. So it's been many hours and we've added more water and it still has not soaked past this point.
The water just went to here, I think.
I think it actually did something. That's shocking.
But there's like a pool of water up here.
Okay, so when we were trying to do the experiment with the tube, we noticed as we were putting the dirt in and as we were trying to saturate the dirt that it had really tiny grain sizes and was really sandy. So that definitely affects the permeability and the porosity. So, which is why whenever it floods, the rain accumulates on top in big puddles. So, because the water can't drain easily through the dirt.
So in conclusion, we met with the physical plant and mapped out the storm drains and figured out basically why Chapel Field floods, why there's a swamp near the Science Center. The map that they gave us is from 1994, and the map that they have is from 1994, so that just goes to show how old and outdated the water system is here at Wheaton, unfortunately. And we studied the permeability, which there wasn't any, and we did interview the staff at the physical plant to see what they to get an understanding of the water system and the ground system. And Wheaton is working on it. That's what we were told. Wheaton is working on updating the pipe system and updating how water flows out of the campus when it rains.
Wait. Alright, story time.
We're having some difficulties.
We're trying!
There's gotta be a better way.
Here we see there is a meandering river that goes through this path after Beard, and it always deposits wood chips right here. But they fix it every time and then just does it again. Smart, Wheaton, smart.
Very hot.
There are so many buttons that I want to press. We found this giant rock while we were doing the soil core thing. It made it very difficult. However, it's a pretty good rock because we used it to stir our sludge around.
Yes, and it doesn't fit in the tube.
It's not fit in the tube.
No, it's wider than the tube.
Yes, it's huge.
But I'm keeping that rock when we're done.
It's very special.
It's mine.
Yeah.
Beets taste like dirt, and I love it.
You're a mess. All right, stop revealing the secrets about yourself. I think we're
Dirt.
I love dirt.
stop.